Welcome back to I Said It With No Edit. Today is Motivational Monday, and today we have a blessing in a storm, Miss Shoshana Taylor, and you're in for some good treats. Sit back, get your pen and paper, and enjoy. Miss Shoshana.
Hey, Sasha.
Everybody, well, let me just start off with saying this. First of all, everybody that been following me, we know that Shauna has been on season 1 already.
Correct.
She's our, of course, repeating guest.
Yes.
And when we actually did that first podcast, we kind of just met and getting to know each other. And here we are now, months later, and it's like, we're sisters now.
Literally.
We're sisters now.
There is no, there's no bonus in front of that. There's no, that we are sisters.
We
This
are
is
sisters.
My sister.
Yes. And that shows what type of person she is. And at that season, I said she was the blessing in the storm. She's going to explain where the blessing in the storm came from, what it is. But I just want to give a little backstory because she's my sister. And I had to change that name because I got to know her more and love her more and to recognize who she is inside. And she is the quiet storm. The quiet storm.
Literally.
And so she's still a blessing in the storm.
Absolutely.
But she is the quiet storm. And I love her for that. I love her energy. I love everything about her. All right, now we're going to roll into Motivation Monday. We're going to get back on topic. But I had to share my little tidbit introduction of my sister.
Thank you.
All right, so Miss Shoshana Taylor,
Yes.
a blessing in the storm. What is it that you're offering to others to help serve people? What is it that you're doing?
So, A Blessing in the Storm is actually my website. And to be completely honest, it offers some of everything. It offers support. It offers simple things down to recipes. It offers different books you can read. It offers pictures. You know, people might need pictures just to kind of like brighten up their day. It offers a transparent look into my journey. Me personally, and, you know, dealing with different issues with mental health, and different mental health diagnosis. And what I'm offering is more hope, more motivation, more determination, and more understanding. I feel like a lot of people are afraid to kind of tap into like the mental health issues that they may have.
They do.
Whether diagnosed or undiagnosed. And I feel like a lot of people really don't truly understand what's going on within themselves. And it's scary, right?
We're not taught to understand our emotions, and it's just kind of push it back, be strong,
and just get through. And basically, you know, it leads us down so many different roads, so many different paths. So overall, if I would have to say, the biggest thing that I have to offer is a look into how you can break your generational curses.
I love it. And of course, I've been all on your website. And I love how you, like you said, you showed what's going on with you.
Right.
And it makes, even down to me, like, I went through that. I understand. You get what I'm saying? Like, I can understand it. I'm not alone.
Right.
You know, and like you said, that hope, that motivation that people can go through. And again, if you haven't called on yet, it's a lot of mental health. Not a lot of mental health, but it's dealing with mental health and just the things that people go through during life that may not be, like you said, really discussed.
Right.
So
it's basically, I mean, literally, long story short, I got diagnosed with severe PTSD or chronic PTSD, major depressive disorder, panic disorder, as well as generalized anxiety disorder in November of 2019. All before that time, I was going through so many different changes and so many different seasons of life. I was changing job after job. I was unhappy. I'm always, and still to this day, like, I can sit here and I'm very comfortable. You're my sister, so it's easy for me to kind of have this dialogue with you. I'm very hyper vigilant all the time. I need to know what's going on around me. You know what I mean? Just
that's what I'm saying. I understand.
The time.
Yes.
And I couldn't really understand what was going on. And so many people who know me could see these things going on but wouldn't say anything to me. And whether it was that they didn't know how, whether it was they were scared of what my reaction was going to be, you know, so I just had all of this crap. You know what I mean? Like,
And
going
didn't know
on.
what to do with
like
it. Yeah.
a twister, like a storm of just everything just happening. And I just had no idea. And finally, I had a breaking point, and it prompted me to go and actually seek the help that I felt like I needed. And when I did that and got these diagnoses, it really, that sent me on another whirlwind, because
Another
then
journey,
I had to expect a lot of change, but I also had to accept that this was my new reality. You know what I mean? It wasn't new, but it was new. It was new because I actually had a name to what was happening.
And I think that's kind of hard with a lot of people is even when they do get diagnosed or they know something's not right, it's hard to accept, okay, this is it.
Right. Because then you have to accept why.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. And it's like, even with me, for me to accept that I was going through what I was going through, like you said, I had to accept, okay, what did I play a factor?
Right.
How did I not take care of my mental? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did I do?
Yep.
And it's like, that's hard to accept, to say, okay, this is my new now. Right. This is where I'm at right now. Either you can run from it and ignore it.
And that works.
It
doesn't.
It works for a little bit.
Until it doesn't.
But it's going to come to a point where it's not going to work.
Correct. Case in point.
Me too.
You know?
It's me too.
So many others who just don't
yes
know what to do, or they just don't have an understanding.
Feel alone.
Or,
nobody else knows what I'm going through. Nobody else feels this way.
It can't possibly be this bad.
It can't.
My life is over.
The worst.
Oh my. I can tell you countless times, like, the way I was just like, there is no way that anyone can relate to me, which is why I've always been such a loner, because I felt like no one could possibly understand me. I felt like the black sheep. Let me be clear. I am the black sheep.
Not over here.
Not here. But I am the black sheep, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? I kind of learned to embrace that, because that's what makes me so genuine and so me. And it's not for everybody.
Correct.
And I'm okay with that now too.
Yes. And
I used to not be okay with that. I used to feel like
everybody to love me, and
I need to adapt. I need to fit in. I need to, if this group of people is this way, I need to be this way. Yet that was so hard, because, excuse me for saying it, but most people think I'm a little mean.
Don't say excuse me. This is, I said it with no edit. You say what you need to say.
It's like, people are like, you are mean. You know what I mean?
How many times I heard that?
Right. You know, and so it's just like, that was hard for me, because I wasn't really being myself, like trying to adapt and be so jovial and so, you know, and so then I kind of accepted, okay,
this is me.
Take
it or leave it.
You either love it or you hate it. You either like it or you don't. You either take it or you leave it, and I'm okay on either side.
And that's how it's gotta be. And it was just a post I had posted. It was something like, pretty much if you be yourself and you're honest with yourself, that's going to bring other people that's going to love that aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can be genuine, be yourself, somebody's going to come along and say, I love that, despite the flaws, and that's who's supposed to be in your circle, who's going to accept your flaws and accept you for you. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
When you can be yourself around somebody and don't feel judged, and you know that they have the best interest at heart, and they're going to tell you like it is. It's not from a mean or negative. Like last night I said, I'm never going to judge you. I'm going to laugh.
Right.
My ass going to laugh.
Right.
But I will never judge you.
Yeah.
Like, who am I to judge? You get what I'm saying?
Correct.
So I get that, and it's hard to basically. It's sad that we're not taught to kind of be comfortable in our own skin to a degree. That's what it is. And then we got stuff going on too. So it's like, I really can't be comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you this: with everything that you gave us a little breakdown of what's going on with, what's going on with you. So why did you decide that you're going to make a webpage? What made you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do?
So,
like, what was that point?
The breaking point for me to decide I'm going to start this website. A lot of people know, if they've been to the website. Last year, actually, I launched the website in May, and it started off as like this free website. It was just like, I'm just going to kind of like chronicle things that I'm going through, because throughout all of this whirlwind of crap that I was already dealing with, mental health diagnoses and all of those types of things, I contracted COVID from someone who was very close to me. We were, sharing the same space and sharing a vehicle and, just so many things that were happening. And imagine virtual school with a 6-year-old at the time.
That right there alone. And with your 6-year-old, you don't have the average 6-year-old. Her son is very smart.
Yes.
Beyond his years. Smart.
Yes.
So
I was having virtual school with my 6-year-old at the time. I was in isolation. And during that time, COVID had just really kind of surfaced. And so there was not enough information. So quarantine and isolation time was the full 14 days plus the 7, because you needed to make sure that none of the symptoms came back. So I was quarantined for 23 days total. Wow. 21 plus 2 extra, just because at that time it was just like, for the people who were close to me, my mother who is a senior citizen, my brother, I had to think about any and everyone. So not only did we do the full 21 days, but then we did a couple extra, before even being around anyone else. But during that time, my friend got very, very sick. So he contracted COVID and went into the hospital on April 1st. And so, then I had a sinus infection. It was just kind of like a whirlwind the way things went. So from the 1st, he went into the hospital. From the 5th, I got a phone call that he was being intubated. You know what I mean? On the 7th, I tested positive. So it was just like all of this stuff just happened
in a short period of
time. On April 18th, he died. On April 17th, I had this crazy weird dream. I had never met him when he was in his younger state, but in this dream, he pulled up to his apartment and he was his younger self. And I'll never forget this dream because I was like, what the hell are you doing here? I'm like, you're supposed to be at the hospital resting. And I was like, and why are you young?
Never thinking.
And he was like,
you do that?
Right. And he was like, you left something in the house. Hurry up and go get it. And when I went back in the house in a dream, I came out and he was gone. I woke up that next morning. I was freaking out. I called my mom. I called my sister. And I was just like, he's going to die. That Friday, the 17th, I was like, he's going to die. I was like, that's it. Like, I know it. And on the 18th, his daughter called me and was like, he's gone. And it was just so much, I think, just everything that I was just dealing with, Again, I had these fresh diagnoses because you keep in mind we're only talking a few short months.
Yeah.
I was in an IOP program. I had really just finished an IOP program, dealing with, like a lot of the trauma and things that I had been through, catching COVID, homeschool, him dying. And so I just was
still
like,
trying to do your own thing in your own life.
Right. And so I was just like, it's so much. I was like, I've got to do this vlog. Like, I've got to do this vlog. So because COVID it was very rampant, but it wasn't rampant enough to where a lot of people in our own personal community had knew about it. I did an interview with CatholicPhilly.com. They wanted to do this interview, and during the interview, I was just like, I'm really thinking about starting a vlog about it, because I just want to kind of detail what this whole experience has been like. And that's what prompted it. COVID. That was the breaking point. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the twig that made the old lady crack. Whatever the hell, adage you want to use with it, that's what it was. It was brought about to just kind of be a blog. In between all of that, it was like, but I survived COVID. Like, I can talk about how COVID affected me. I can talk about how it killed him. The reality of it is I survived. I survived COVID. My 6-year-old survived COVID.
You didn't say he had got tested positive too.
He so was
dealing with that
positive.
Too. Yep. He was presumed positive. Okay. Okay.
And he had spiked the fever one day, and then you want to talk about panic? I went into like a severe panic. Like, I called his doctor, I called his nurse, I did the Motrin and Tylenol cocktail. The fever broke within hours and it never returned.
Good.
So it just was like just one thing after another. I refused to allow myself to deal with this. I refuse to get sick. I refuse to let cold sit in my lungs. I made myself cough even when I didn't have to cough. I coughed so much that I had bruised my lungs.
Wow.
I had bruised my lungs. My skin was raw because I cleaned everything. Like, I was in a house masked up. Like, my son, don't hug me, don't touch me, stay out of my space. And that's hard when you have a 6-year-old who doesn't quite understand. So I was just like, all this stuff is going on in my brain. I gotta get it out. I've got to get it out. And in that, it was like, there's more to it than this. So I had to now tell not just my story of dealing with COVID, but surviving COVID and dealing with the things that I experienced during that time. The only reason that I was able to even deal with those things is because I had completed this IOP program, which would allow me to better kind of deal with those things. And so it just was like, I'm going to tell everything. And I still haven't told everything.
Because I was about to say, I think I haven't seen with the details of the being in your home. I think that would be a very, very good blog about that, because I would like to hear basically the mind of what's going on. You get what I'm saying? Of what the person that has a COVID, what's going on in your head? How do you feel? How does that change your life?
Drastically.
Again, we need to. This is what people need to see, though. We do.
So I am working on it. And the reason that I haven't done that, to be completely honest, is because then I would have to deal with something.
You have to go back and touch it
that I'm not used to dealing with, and that's grief.
And you know I'm a pusher. And you know I'm the pusher.
And you know I'm the runner.
And I'm gonna be right there, right behind you. Come here, Shana.
So that's why you guys haven't got any of that yet. Because I don't deal with grief well. I've never personally grieved. I've lost a lot of people, but I've never grieved. I don't know what that's like. And I'm just learning to accept that I have different emotions other than anger and sadness.
And I think a lot of people don't even like really understand what you just said. I don't think they do.
Coming to understand,
and that you can actually control and deal and learn from them. I don't think people understand that.
For the longest time, I didn't even know how I felt. I would go to this program and they would ask me, well, how you feeling today? And I would be like, I'm okay. And they would be like, okay, now how are you really feeling? And it would, if you know me, they did not call me Vader for just no reason. I can be very stoic. Hence the reason she calls me Quiet Storm. I'm very quiet. I'm very soft-spoken.
Beautiful person. Until
I'm not. You know? And like, so I would go to this program and they would push, and it would incense and enrage me innerly, and so finally I would be like, I don't know. Stop asking me how I feel. I don't know. That was my problem. So I was trying to deal with trauma, and I can't deal with trauma because I don't know how I feel.
You don't know how.
And I don't know how I feel because the only two things that I always feel and I know are anger and sadness. So I am just getting to that point where I'm like, I feel more than anger and sadness. Not we can laugh and we can joke all day long, but innerly, like, I'm really like sulk. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I know that there's actually more feelings than anger and sadness, and I'm just learning to accept that for me. And so dealing with anything that's going to put me back
in those situations,
I'm not ready to deal with.
You're going to get yourself ready, because you're going to share with other people how they're in the same situation to how they can deal and get ready.
Let me give you guys a spoiler of what's next.
Let's do it.
So I did one IOP program the end of November to February, November 2019 to February 2020. Okay. I just completed another IOP program from January. I did January to March of this year. And what those did is they were dealing with the emotional regulation. Those emotions that I do not like tapping into. I don't like feeling vulnerable for anyone.
It's hard.
Anytime,
trust me.
Anywhere.
It's hard.
this, it took a while to get to this point where I'm just like,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
So, but here's the spoiler. Because I did not complete the women's trauma track before, I'm getting ready to go back to the IOP program that I originally started off with, but I'm going to actually be doing the women's trauma. So I'm getting ready to dive head on into the actual trauma and things that I've dealt with from 5 years old up through my adult life. So yeah, you guys will get a lot more. You guys will hear a lot more. But in the meantime, definitely go to the website, because there's so much information.
It is.
There's so much information. If anybody's like me, they know my anxiety gets raging and I love to cook. Millions of recipes on the website. Gourmet recipes, because I was at one point really working closely with a gourmet chef. She is a beautiful soul. Nice. She was dealing with some personal things, and so, you know, we just kind of took a break from that. But there are plenty of gourmet recipes up there right now. Fitness tips. You want to learn how to get fit? If you're having emotional issues and you're at your breaking point and you don't know where to go, there are resources on there that you can go to. We've got the National Black Catholic Congress, and that's not as, it's outside of religion. This organization provides you with resources that you may just need. The suicide prevention line is up there. You know, unfortunately, suicide is one of the,
and I'm glad you're touching on this, because a lot of things you're saying is things that are not talked about. Like you're saying, you're doing IOPs, and you're doing,
I'm being very transparent. It's
going to your these classes, and you get what I'm saying. And did I say right, IOP? I'm getting brain fart. I always get my brain fart. So it happens at least once in the episode. I get a brain fart. But you're doing what you're supposed to do. You get what I'm saying? And it's showing. It's not a weakness. It's like, oh, she's no. This is what people need to do, instead of just saying, oh, I'm gonna deal with it on my own. Right. Sometimes it is not, and I'm not saying you can't do it on your own. Some people are able to. But if you know you're at a space where it's destructive to yourself or to others, I'm not saying you were there, but you just know that you might. You just might.
We're gonna call it what it is. I was there.
And I'm glad you can accept.
I was.
And when I got to that point, I was too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I was there too. But some people, they'll sit and keep, and I'm not gonna lie, at some points I was trying to hide it. Like, even when I was diagnosed and everything, I was still saying, no, I'm not gonna tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm having anxiety, but I don't want to tell nobody, because they're gonna look at me funny. Right. They're gonna judge me. Right. Just to come out and have a support system that you can go to and talk to and say, look, I'm not right. I need help. Just sit with me. Hold my something. You get what I'm saying? That's what we need. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was definitely there. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not a really big people person. I mean, so for me, I was just like,
it is what it is. I don't need to be around you anyway.
So, you know, but I also am very nurturing, and I'm also very caring. And I just felt like, if I can get through this, there are so many other people who could get through this. And sometimes all it takes is somebody a little bit different, you know. And I think what makes it so different with A Blessing in the Storm is, you're right, I'm talking about things that people don't. People will talk about mental health. People will talk about the stigmas. People will talk about the different diagnoses and what they mean. We could do that all day long. I've done it.
And even how to fix it to a degree.
To a degree.
But show me what it looked like.
Correct. It's not pretty. It is not
at
pretty.
all.
It is days of not showering. It is
days not getting out the bed.
Days of not getting out the bed, off the couch. It is sometimes not eating at all. It is sometimes my mom saying to me, get up, go shower, you want to get something to eat.
Yes.
It is days where my mom will say to me, put something on, we're going to go for a walk.
Get us some fresh air. Get out the house.
Yep. It is days where nobody will say anything to me, depending on what my mode is when I wake up. Because sometimes whatever happened in my sleep might have
them dreams can set you off.
Correct. And for anybody who doesn't understand, you know, the stress level of PTSD, imagine a war veteran coming home, and they're having severe nightmares and things like that.
Or hearing noises and it wakes them up to sleep. All that they're
night terrors, nightmares. So when you have chronic PTSD or complex PTSD, it is combined with trauma after trauma after trauma on top.
Yep.
So waking up screaming, or my 6-year-old waking me up, you're screaming in your sleep. It is not pretty. It is not fun.
Not at all.
By any means.
And even the people around, like she said, her 6-year-old son.
Yep.
It's
my
not just
6-year-old and my mother, my brother, my sister, my other sisters, they know. Don't walk up on me, and no, you can't just come up and approach me.
That's like everybody. You know what I'm saying? But of course, with somebody with PTSD,
I
got it, and I still can't say it.
Right.
I'm diagnosed with it, and I still can't say it. But for me, it's like most people, like even before all my issues as well, I didn't like for people to be behind me and touch me. But if you walk up on somebody that has these type of issues, you have to realize, people don't realize to put themselves in other people's shoes.
Correct.
And you might not understand it, understandable, but just think, like she said, think about a war veteran coming home. Mm-hmm. Think about somebody else besides yourself. Just because you don't experience it doesn't mean that it's okay to jump on somebody like that. Yeah. Don't do that. You will get punched. Yeah, something like that it scares them. It scares me. It scares her. Like
it's a very huge trigger.
Yes.
So what makes it so different is I'm literally sharing all of it. The good and the bad. I have great days. I have days where I'm like,
let's do this on top of the world.
What we got going on today? Boom, and
that's a part of it.
And I'll wake up and I'll be on go, like nonstop.
Yep.
Yesterday was one of those days.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up and I was just like, all right, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and all day long,
you got it done.
I was knocking it out, back to back to back. And then this morning.
But you're here.
But I'm here.
You're here. We're doing.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's very, very up and down. It's crazy. If you can think of a straight line, you can think of a wavy line. Think of all of that.
Just going in and out.
And like just in and out, up and down, rounds and round. You know what I mean? It's just not pretty. And it's hard, but it is so worth it.
And that's the thing.
It is so worth it.
We're stressing on how hard it is. But it's also the fact, like she said, it's good days. Yeah. So it's not like it's always hard. It's not always a storm.
No.
It's not. It's once you master how to handle your emotions, how to deal with things, how to address it and see like, oh, this is that. Oh, I'm getting a trigger.
Yeah.
I need to do A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
Once you're able to do that, you'll be able to bounce back.
Correct.
Just a little bit. Each time, for me, I know I bounce back quicker. Every time I have those down days, I'm able to bounce back because I keep practicing and keep doing what I need to do. Again, not easy. It won't happen overnight.
But it's worth it.
It's very worth it.
And here's the thing. I can talk about how hard it is. I can talk about how easy those good days are. I can talk about those days where it's just kind of in between, where I'm up and I'm down. Because those days are going to come. And it's absolutely worth it. But I'm not where I was last year. And I'm definitely not where I was the year before. Like this year, right here, right now, in this car at 11:59, I can tell you how I feel. Last year, I couldn't do that.
And that's always an improvement.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, that's the blessing in the storm right there.
Correct. So for people who kind of don't quite get it yet, I am the storm. But everybody has their storms.
Yes.
Everybody has whatever version of their storm that they're going through. But you can get through it. And at the end of it all, there's a huge blessing waiting. You just have to have some patience. And you
have to work towards it.
Work.
Yeah, you can't just sit there and expect somebody to hand it to you.
Yeah, you gotta work.
Oh, please give me this, please do this, please do it. And then don't do nothing.
Yep.
That ain't gonna work.
And you gotta be willing to deal with the good and the bad.
And that's what it is. You have to dig deep.
Yep.
And I think that's why a lot of people don't do self-healing.
Right.
Because it's painful. Right. To sit and go back.
I see a therapist. I have 3 different therapists that I see, 2 psychiatrists and 1 therapist, and I see them every single week. And it's about to be 3 psychs because I'm getting ready to do another therapy program.
Yeah.
So it's not, you have to have a care team. My team of doctors, my primary care doctor, all the way down to my gynecologist, guess what? They all work in conjunction.
They have to.
With my
Those are
mental
good
health
doctors.
team. Right.
Those are good doctors.
They work in conjunction with my mental health team. If anything seems off, there's a note that goes right
to everybody.
Do you know what I mean? And it's okay. Like, those are things that I kind of found hard to accept. For me, it was like, me?
Right.
You what? I work for
Right.
years. I've done this.
I can
But
do
guess
this.
what?
I can do that. I can do this.
I've left every single job that I had, and most of them I left with a bang.
You went out.
I went out
a soldier
with a bang. With a bang. Like, and I don't mean just some here's my letter of resignation, I'm leaving today. I mean, here's my letter of resignation. Let me send it to the entire company and the clients and staff.
It was on your petty.
Bad.
But again, people don't understand what that mental, that's what it can do to you. It puts you in a mind frame and a mindset that is not healthy for you or other people.
Correct.
And once you can recognize and see, like, all right, like you said, all you knew was anger. This is not life. And a lot of people literally are walking around with nothing but anger, hate, fear, all those low vibration emotions. And this is how they could have been born into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people are born in it and they don't know.
Yep. Generational curses.
Anything else.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is why I love this, because you're giving it the raw.
Yeah.
And I love it. And this is what the people need. Is there any words of advice, anything you want to share with anybody? Let's say somebody is going through their storm. What advice would you give them? One, the first advice is go to the website.
Not only go to the website, but if you don't know where to turn, it's okay. Listen, my email, I'm going to give them my email to the website. It's Shoshana at ablessinginthestorm.com. So I'm going to spell it. It's SHOSHANA at ABLESSINGINTHESTORM.com. Email me. Sometimes you just need a person who does not know you personally
to judge, yes,
to talk about whatever it is, whether you want to curse, whether you want to cry, whether you want to scream, whether you want to just say, listen, I'm ready to risk it all, you know, I'm feeling impulsive. Whatever it is, just know that you're not alone. Know that you definitely have a support system, and it's not just about my website, but it is legitimately because I care. And if you do have a support system, if you have one person,
just one,
that you can go to them, and don't be ashamed of whatever it is that you're feeling or whatever it is that you're going through. Don't be ashamed, and it is more than wonderful to reach out and ask for the help that you need, whether you go through your doctor's office, whether you go through the website, whether you walk into a psychiatrist's office and say, I need some help, whether you go to the emergency room and say, I'm at a low point. No matter what it is, make sure you do it, and it's okay.
The website, the link, the email, all that is going to be listed in the description in case you couldn't get it when she said it.
Yes.
But I back everything up she just said. It's a matter of speaking it, because when you hold feelings and emotions in, it manifests inside and then bubbles out internally. So you have to get it out, but you have to get it out in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And talking to somebody, just getting it out. And a lot of people also have fear of, oh, they're going to put me on meds, they're going to lock me up, they're going to do this, they're going to put me in a loony bin, they're going to take my rights away.
Right.
No. First, you got to have a good primary, a good doctor. If you're going to go to Western medicine, find a good primary.
Right.
Make sure they're good and they're going to listen to you and understand. And maybe you don't want to start out with medication.
Right.
You want to start out with maybe a therapist, or getting, and I say a therapist, or maybe a program, something, you know, something, so you can get the tools, because there's so many different tools out there that you can use before. It also depends on the level. You know what I'm saying? Also the level, and again, that's where the doctor will come in at and be able to help you assist with that. But don't be scared. You have a voice. You can say, no, I don't want that. I'm not a danger to myself, or whatever your situation is.
And you have
a
to be
right.
honest with yourself about what your situation is.
That too.
A little bit of transparency. I was going to hurt someone, and I meant it. I meant everything I said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when it got to that point, and I'm like, I'm about to risk it all. I'm about to just
it is what it is.
Like, this is it. Like, I said, okay, I might need to go get some help.
It's time now.
It's time. Because you know what? Because, somebody's going to end up hurt. I'm going to end up in jail. I got a son. You know what I mean? It's just like everything just got to this point where I was like, oh, yeah, that's it. You got to be honest with yourself.
At that point, so it doesn't go further.
Correct. You have to be honest with yourself. If nobody else be honest with you, because if you're not honest with you about what point you're at, you're not going to be honest with anyone else, and it's going to be
Correct.
counterproductive to
Because you want to
healing.
hide, you're still lying to yourself because you're not admitting something is wrong somewhere. You're not
Something is wrong.
admitting that, okay, I need help. You're not admitting that, all right, yeah, I'm fucking up right now.
Right.
Because if you can't say that to yourself, you damn sure ain't going to tell it to somebody that you think is going to put you on meds or do this and do that to.
Correct.
When in reality, you talk to them and get everything out, they can work it out and help
Correct.
you with it.
Yeah. And it's okay to need help.
Yes.
It's okay.
Get the help.
Correct. I think
Please.
there's such like a huge stigma.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
Get
such
the
a huge
damn. That's what I'm
stigma.
saying. Like I love that you're saying
the
how
help.
you went to the program. I did programs. I did group therapy. I did it too.
Mm-hmm.
I did it too. And I'm thankful. I would tell any and everybody, do it.
Yep.
And it's funny because when I did it, I had group therapy, and it's funny because I didn't intentionally go in for group therapy. I went in for the psychiatrist, and they was like, "Well, you have to you have to go to group, whatever, and you technically only need 1 day, but we don't have any spots for 1 day, so you have to do 5 days a week." And I'm like, I don't need. I'm just thinking like, I'm not doing this. I'm telling them like I'm not beat. I don't need this. I'm not crazy like that. I don't need this. I don't need it. They said I only need 1 day.
Yeah.
I said, but all right, I need to go for the psychiatrist.
Right.
I went. I got a whole new family. You realize they're humans,
Yep.
just like everybody else.
Yep.
And
The
I
support
literally,
is unmatched.
oh my God! And
Unmatched.
everybody has issues, but I realized I needed that group.
Yep.
It helped me so much, and I was able to open up
Yep.
and share things where I thought I'm good. No, baby girl, I was not good, and I don't regret. If I could go back, I would do it again. And I recommend anybody, even if you feel as though you're not like I didn't, do it. Because I realized everybody sitting there, they all had jobs.
Right.
They all have lives. They all have families.
Yeah.
They all have careers. One of my closest ones that I met, I love, oh my God, she's my freaking sister twin. She's amazing. I wish we would have met when the age was similar. A movie star. Well, she's a movie star to me, but she played in a lot of films. You get what I'm saying? And she's a successful actress, traveled the world, but just had life happen. You get what I'm saying? Like people don't realize that it's just life happens, and sometimes we just need help to kind of balance that.
Balance it out.
That's it. So it's like I can't look down on anybody else, and that's part of my journey is thinking, oh, I'm better, this and another. I can't forgive. I can't love. I can't do this. Y'all, we literally all the same. Just going to do different.
Yeah.
The process in different ways, obviously, but it's still the same. Still the same. So, how can we? I'm sorry, we got to wrap this up. But how can we reach Miss Shoshana? And what you said, all the ways we can reach you.
So definitely my email, Shoshana@ablessinginthestorm.com. You can go to the website, www.ablessinginthestorm.com, and all of the links for social, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, they're all A Blessing in the Storm, except for Twitter. Twitter is Abitsblog. But everything is A Blessing in the Storm, A Blessing in the Storm blog, A Blessing in the Storm, on Facebook. It's easy to find.
It is, again, it's all going to be listed for everybody to get. It was always a pleasure to have you on, my sister.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. Again, y'all reach out if y'all want to go check her website out.
Yeah.
If you know anybody that may be going through something or refer the website to them.
Yeah.
Refer the email if they need to talk to somebody. Refer it. As always, I love y'all, LPP, and I said it with no edit.